and Pete DeQuincy did. So those will be, or that is available to go through that packet pretty extensively. So, and with that, I'm going to move into CPRS updates. They just updated their website, and Stephanie, are you able to go ahead and do a recap of that? I know you've been playing in their website way more than I have.
Yeah, they're still having a little bit of challenges. I've been speaking with John quite a bit, and he had hoped that everything would be good to go once they released it on Monday, but they've been having a few hiccups, but nothing major. I would definitely encourage people to log in and update their profiles if they have a minute. It's nice to see pictures next to a profile so we know who we're talking to. It's definitely a lot more, it's more clean looking and it's easier to find things. So I encourage you guys to check it out. We were able to send out our weekly update through the site. Right now it's being sent out as a discussion item instead of an announcement. So I did learn from John that if someone replies to that email from Lauren, it's going to reply to the whole group. And he's working on changing that so it goes back to an announcement versus a discussion. So again, that's just something that they're trying to fix on the back end for us. But once everybody gets in there and starts using it more, I think it's going to be definitely beneficial for us. The libraries have the capability to sort things in a easier method. Yeah, it's pretty cool. If you are in a certain district and you want to get information from a neighboring district, you're able to go and join that district. So that's kind of cool. So if they send out, say you're in District 10 and your neighbor's in 9, you want to know what they're doing. If you join their group, then anytime they send out information through the communities, you'll receive that as well. So yeah, I think that's about it for now. Unless anybody has any major issues or concerns, I can definitely let John know, because he's had me giving him feedback on things. And I know he's also going to meet with district and section leaders to do kind of a training on how they can personalize their communities and how to work them a little bit better.
Cool, thanks Stephanie, I appreciate it. So the other things we're going to talk about today is like facilities and programs. We're going to do a couple of polls, but not through Zoom since we don't have that access, just more of like using the hand raising or thumbs up, thumbs down from the participant window to kind of gauge where people are at. And then we'll do Red Cross updates towards the end. I know I see Zachary on here and Tara so far, so they'll be around for that as well. But for right now, Andrew, did you hop on by any chance? I'm not seeing him right off the bat. Okay, so and then also Jennifer, are you going to need sharing capabilities?
Yeah, I would love to share my screen if that's all right.
Okay, perfect. So, oh, it looks like Stephanie, you added me as a co-host, so we'll be able to make sure you can share your screen. So that'll be great. So it is actually with great pleasure for us to introduce Jennifer Rubin. She is from the Sacramento area. She's worked with NACMA a lot over the years. So she is part of a coalition called Safe Kids Greater Sacramento, and she's one of their coordinators. So with that, I'm going to actually have Jennifer talk about all the things associated with the coalition. So Jennifer, go ahead and take it away.
Alrighty, great, thank you. I can introduce myself and try to share my screen at the same time. Here we go.
Perfect.
Alrighty, hopefully that looks good. Okay, well, good, well, I don't know, morning or afternoon, we're right on the border, aren't we? It's very nice to be with you all. Thank you for having me. Like Terry said, my name is Jennifer Rubin. I work for Dignity Health out of Mercy San Juan Medical Center. And we are a level 2 adult trauma center here in Sacramento County, California. And part of my job as trauma prevention coordinator, the hat I wear half the week, is to be the coordinator of Safe Kids Greater Sacramento and the coordinator of our coalition. So today I'm going to talk about Safe Kids Worldwide and Safe Kids California and some of the water safety resources that they have, and then how we informed our work here in the Sacramento area to do water safety for our community, and how we've partnered with Parks and Rec districts over the years. And so before I go on, I always say, I worked for Elk Grove, now Cosumnes Parks and Rec for 7 summers in summer day camp. So sorry about all my day campers. And I want to always shout out Parks and Rec districts, not just for your direct programs, but for giving a lot of people their first jobs, and all of the careers that they go on to from there are informed by them working with you. So thank you for all you do on job training as well as programming. So just a quick introduction to Safe Kids Worldwide. Safe Kids Worldwide is an international nonprofit organization. They have about 30 member countries and more than 400 coalitions here in the United States. And how that works is that each local coalition has a lead agency. So someone in the community steps up and says, we'll be the leaders. So here in Sacramento, that is my hospital, Mercy San Juan. And we are dedicated to preventing injuries for children ages 0 to 18. And so when it comes to the different injury topics, what we mean by that is things that families might normally call an accident, we call preventable injuries. So here are some of the main injury areas that we cover. You can see this is just for 1 year in the United States. These are all preventable injuries. And so we spend a lot of time on traffic safety. That suffocation number you see there is mostly infant sleep-related deaths. So we spend a lot of time on that. And of course, drownings. It shows kind of as number 3 here on this chart, but for us in Sacramento, when we break it down to kids ages 1 to 4, it is our leading cause of preventable injury death here in the Sacramento area, and I'm guessing in a lot of your counties as well. So definitely spend time on that. It's a little bit of a funny thing, I gotta tell you, because as a trauma center, drowning is not considered a trauma. Traumas are injuries, right, where some sort of force is applied to the body. So a lot of trauma centers don't work on drowning prevention or don't track drownings, but as a Safe Kids Coalition, we know that that's what is impacting our children here in the county, so I do work on drowning prevention. So how do we do that? How do we get that work done? First, through research. Safe Kids Worldwide, especially here in the US, does a lot of research reports, and we're able to contribute to that as a local coalition. As a small hospital, I don't have the power to do big, research projects, but I can contribute my local numbers as part of the Safe Kids Network, and then they can do big research reports, which we love. We can also conduct advocacy for those of us who aren't necessarily government organizations. We can do a lot of legislative advocacy. This can range from federal standards for consumer products to state booster seat laws, all the way down to helping a small school district with their drop-off and pickup policies to make sure everybody's safe when they get to and from school. So advocacy can look like a lot of things for us. Also awareness, making sure that we're all delivering consistent, compelling messaging. That's a big part of my work, is to kind of gather everybody together and get on the same page, whether that's telling people how often to change their smoke alarm batteries, or talking about water safety, whatever it is, we want to make sure we're all saying the same thing out in the community. And then I think the place you might know us most is probably for our programs. We have programs for all of the different injury areas, but I will admit that we are primarily known as the car seat people, and that's fine. That's probably because we certify all of the car seat technicians all over the world. They come through Safe Kids. But because we're known as the car seat people, guess what? That is a big advantage for drowning prevention, because that means we see a heck of a lot of new parents and parents of young children. And so we can reach them with water safety messages. We each have a different role to play in the water safety world. There's different roles. We've got search and rescue folks. We've got folks teaching swim lessons. We've got folks lifeguarding the beaches and pools. And for us, we can help raise community awareness. And when we see families of young children, we can remind them to go sign up for swim lessons and to be aware of the rules at the pool or the beach and to hopefully follow them. So that's kind of our piece of the puzzle, knowing that we raise community awareness and we send folks to you for swimming and swim lessons. So Safe Kids has resources to offer for our members, or for really anyone, on their public website. So if you go to safekids.org, there's all kinds of good materials there. They're bright and colorful and evidence-based, and you can slap your logo next to ours if you want to on there, and use anything that's on the public website. And if you see something that or if you can't find something there, you can let me know and I can look at our sort of back-end website, our resource center. There are checklists and fact sheets and infographics, big research reports and tip sheets, and then a lot of different videos too, from short little clips. We have a life jacket one, I think that's 1 minute long, just enough to catch attention on social media, up to some bigger, longer videos. Some of those materials are translated on the website. I will say locally, we've had to do a lot of our own translations. Safe Kids Greater Sacramento has materials in Farsi and Dari and Pashto and Spanish and things that we need locally. So not everything might be there, but a lot of information is in English and Spanish. So just some examples of what you would find there. This is a research report from July 2016 about keeping kids safe in and around the water. This one specifically went after myths. So water safety myths out in the community and misconceptions that parents might have. They did a large survey of parents of young children to find out what they knew or didn't know about water safety. And then that other document that's kind of sideways there is an infographic that was created from the research report. So you can see there, I know it's tiny fonts, but some of the misconceptions were that drowning is silent, that drowning is quick, or the reality is drowning is silent and the reality is drowning is quick. And the reality is that we should be watching our children in the water, and that's our responsibility, meaning the parent or caregiver. So those are some of the materials you can find there. All right, so you say, Jennifer, that's great that you're in Sacramento, and you can call up Terry and all of our friends here. And I know Ryan and Beth and some other folks are on the call. But where can you go? So we have 16 coalitions currently here in California, and we're in most of the big urban areas. Unfortunately, we're not everywhere. I know there's definitely a gap to the north of me. So the north part of the state is really a vacuum for us right now for Safe Kids. So if you know any agencies that work with children that would want to be a good lead agency, call me, I'll connect them. All of these agencies in California are led by Safe Kids California. And Safe Kids California is based out of Children's Hospital, Los Angeles. So that's Helen, her team down there at CHLA. They're also the lead agency for Safe Kids Los Angeles West. And so she helps coordinate and get resources to all of the coordinators that are then in all of these different areas that you see listed here. And the work that each of these Safe Kids coalitions do varies widely based on what's happening in their district and what you guys are seeing in your local area. For example, I know Safe Kids Inland Empire, they cover Riverside and San Bernardino. They do a lot of great work on collecting drowning data. That's been a big project for them with Michelle Parker and her team at Loma Linda Children's Hospital. They're just really involved in trying to collect drowning data and making sure that they have accurate reports and representation of what's happening down there. So I would just encourage you to check out your local coalition if you haven't already. They would love to hear what you're up to and to refer families to you. So what do we do when we get together? What does it mean to be a coalition? Just like you all, we get together to share information and share resources to make sure we're all on the same page about everything. Really just to communicate and collaborate. My job isn't always a lot of frontline education. I don't get to be the person, unfortunately, having fun at the events a lot of times. My job is to say, hey, you've got a whole bunch of life jackets. And you've got a whole bunch of kids that need life jackets. And you've got a whole bunch of volunteers that need something to do. Let me make sure all three of you know each other. And to put everybody together and say, okay, well, here's some Safe Kids videos and materials to use when you're out handing out those life jackets. So that's really what we do at the coalition events, is make sure everybody can communicate and collaborate. I know my Parks and Recreation representatives are really busy and they can't always be at meetings, and that's totally fine. So it's up to me as a coordinator to make sure to reach out to them and speak to them individually and see if there's anything we can do to work together. All right, so coming together as a coalition, how are we going to work on drowning prevention? Well, we're going to go look at the data first, right? When we decided to put together a drowning prevention program, we got a grant, frankly, and then looked at our local data. And so this is from our child death review team. And from 2000 to 2015, we had 90 drowning deaths of kids ages 0 to 18 in Sacramento County. So we lost 90 kids in those 15 years. And 68% of them were ages 0 to 5 or 6 and younger. So when we say we lose kids ages 1 to 4 or 1 to 5, we're not lying. It really is that group that is most at risk. And in a second, I'll show you where those kids drowned. So if you're looking to do something similar in your area, you can find some of that data, find out if your county is by law supposed to have a child death review team. Some are more active than others, but check out your child death review team. And then you can also find this data on the Epicenter website. So this is through the California Department of Public Health. So it's epicenter.cdph.ca.gov. And it's a really easy to use website, even if you're not a data head person or a numbers person. You can select the year, the cause of death, which is drowning. You can select the age groups. You can select the county. So this is by county. And you can see what the drowning deaths were in your county. You can also sort by race and ethnicity. And I think this is as good a time as any to see if there are groups in your county that are being disproportionately impacted by drowning deaths, and start the conversations of what we can do to address that. So I'd encourage everybody to take a look at that data if you haven't recently. They're up through 2015 at this point. So your child death review team might have more recent data. So we knew that we were losing kids. We knew that we were losing kids ages 1 to 4. Where are we losing them? Majority are backyard pools. Every death listed here is either a backyard pool, or we have a couple apartment complex pools as well. These are not public pools, and I always make sure to mention that when I'm out in the community, that these are backyard pools, mostly kids ages 1 to 4 that get away from their parents just for a couple of minutes. Parents or caregivers, and are lost in the backyard pool. Among older kids, we do see more of our open water, and that's what you hear about on the news here in Sacramento, is when we lose folks in the rivers, which is also needing to be addressed. And then we have a couple of bathtub and other drownings. So taking that information, the other thing we do when we create a program is get community input. And so the community told us when we did focus groups at Family Resource Centers, they said, you need to tell the community about the importance of adult supervision, the importance of barriers around pools, and the importance of CPR classes and swim lessons. And that's where you all come in. And so that's where we refer folks to you most of the time. And the really interesting part, though, that I think can help inform the work of me and you, is that when we ask the community, who would you trust to talk to you about water safety? Neither one of us came up. Most of them said healthcare professionals, so meaning their pediatricians, right? So not me here at the hospital or hospital outreach. They meant their pediatricians. That's who they trust for information for how to take care of their children. So that was interesting. And then also fire departments. That's who's usually talking about drownings on the news. So they're a trusted source. And then child care providers. And so this is really interesting. If you're looking to get water safety messages out, maybe partner with these folks to help deliver the messages. And you might have them in your, you might have the fire department office next door in your city or special district. You might have a large network of preschools within your recreation district. So these are the places that families trust for information on how to care for their children. So taking all that information, the data, the community input, we created our program, which we weren't the first ones to think of this acronym, but we went with it, which is the ABCs of drowning prevention. So we help talk about adult supervision, barriers, and CPRN classes. Again, that's a common one. There are programs in Arizona, Florida, Texas that all use that same acronym. And when we looked at our data, it did fit what we needed. And so with that, we do what we can to educate service providers. So we mainly target the folks that work with children ages 0 to 5. And that's a lot of our family resource centers and preschools, Head Start, Healthy Start, and those folks that can reach those families with young children for us. And then I do that train the trainer, and then they take that information out to the families they serve in whatever way they can. That can be a parent class about water safety. It could be combined in another class. A lot of times we have a sort of combo unit of car seat safety, water safety, and home safety that is for folks like foster families and resource families, daycare providers, things like that. So we ask our members to slide this in wherever they can anytime they're reaching families with young children. We have had some of our recreation districts attend our Train the Trainer training. We actually did one for Nakama, I think 2 years ago now, last year, 2 years ago, 2 years ago. Which just, adds another kind of layer of information for them and then the work that they do to say, hey, here's what's happening in the community and how that can inform what we do here at the pool or the beach. And so I know that the recreation professionals aren't going to be usually the ones that then go put on parent classes, but they might have an ABC's brochure in the lobby or, show the video in the lobby or on their website, things like that. It's just the little ways that you can help with community water safety education and let families know how to be safe at home as well as when they're at the pool. All right, so just some of the ideas I thought of, over the years. I've been in this position for 8 years, and before that I worked at a fire department and was on my Safe Kids board for 7 years. And in that time we have partnered with our Parks and Rec districts in a whole long list of ways. I almost couldn't think of all of them. But here in Sacramento, some of the ways we've worked together, first would just be data, both collecting and sharing. If I say, hey, here's what we're seeing from the Child Death Review Team, Parks and Rec districts can tell me, hey, here's what we're seeing in terms of number of swim lessons, or who we're having to jump in to help out in the pool the most. And who's coming to swim lessons, who's not coming to swim lessons, things like that. So we can share a lot of information there. Also policy advocacy. If you are trying to raise your hand at your district and say, hello, we need more funding or we need more something to do with water safety, we are there to back you up. Call us, we will come to the meeting and say, yes, they do. We agree. So yeah, holler if you are working on that and then working on model policies. We often hear about model policies for drowning prevention. Staff training and awareness that goes both ways. We would love to have you come to a Safe Kids meeting and tell us what you're seeing and raise our awareness about what happens at the pool or the beach. And then I'd say the place we probably see each other most is out at community events, right? We love a health fair, we love a safety fair, we'll see you there. And life jacket distribution events as well. A lot of us are involved with helping make sure that life jacket loan stations are stocked and that you have life jackets. A couple years ago, I received a big Kids Plates grant, which is the license plates with the symbol on them. Those help benefit child safety. And so I got a whole bunch of life jackets and I said, I could give these out one by one, but if I gave them to the pools, then they would be used by many people throughout the summer. So we gave them to the fire department life jacket loan stations and to the rec districts for their pools to loan out. And then swim lesson funding. Something that we were able to do this last year, I got just a real small amount of money, but we had some funding for swim lessons for refugee families. And so I worked with 2 districts that were near the refugee resettlement office, and we were able to provide some of that. We had money for this summer as well, but unfortunately it expires June 30th, which is a really big bummer. But yeah, so anyways, the other thing we can do together is you are always welcome to borrow our games and displays. I've got a whole bunch of big health fair supplies sitting in my closet. And if you're like, what do we do at a health fair? We know what to do in the pool, but what do we do out at the fair? This is a big banner game I have. I have 2 sets of this actually. I've got a big 8-foot one and I've got a tabletop 4-foot version. And it says what's safe and what's not safe at the pool. And families can walk up and point, and kids, young and old, can play this and point out, what's safe and what's not safe at this little pool on the screen. And if you're listening to this call on your phone and you can't read this, that's understandable. But what it is it's 2 different graphics of a pool. One that shows safe behaviors and one that shows unsafe behaviors, like the parents chatting and not watching the children, or accidentally leaving the gate open, not having a life preserver, things like that. So it's just a fun prop for a health fair. So that's about what I have for you. I tried to wrap it up in a good amount of time. So Terry, I don't know if we want to check and see if there's any questions in the comment box.
Yes. So one of the things that I did is from the email you had sent us, I went ahead and copied and pasted some links, like the water safety infographics, your guys' web pages, the water safety videos, as well as your handles for your social media. So those are in there. But for now, like, does anybody have any questions? It's kind of open. Now would definitely be the time to ask, and feel free to just unmute yourself, because I can't see everybody to see if you're like raising your hand visually, or you can use the raise hand over on the participant window.
I'll see if I can look at the chat box as well.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything offhand.
Okay.
Hey,
So.
Jen, good to see you. It's Beth.
Hey, Beth, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
Hey, so I have a question. I'm in Contra Costa County, and that's not listed as one of them. So would I just reach out to the closest coalition?
Yeah, that's a great question. And gosh, I would really love to have a coalition in Contra Costa. I know you got a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think closest would probably be Safe Kids Alameda County.
Okay.
We border you a wee bit, so you're always welcome to call me, but Safe Kids Alameda is probably your folks, and that's Alameda County EMS Authority is actually the lead agency there. And I know I believe their coordinator Emma was transitioning out, but Emma and Kat there are a great team at Alameda County EMS. So yeah, definitely hit them up.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to see you. Anybody else? Okay. So yeah, just while folks are thinking if they have any questions, it's just, I know, you guys are hit up in a lot of different ways, but like Beth was saying, she's in a neighboring county, so she might not be able to drive to meetings. But she could just get on their email list and get notifications about community events and things like that, and hit up, Safe Kids Alameda when she needs any resources. Goes both ways, so.
Well, and if there's no more questions, Jen, I just really want to thank you so much for doing this. I know we've worked together off and on over the years, and I know it's a concern of our aquatic community right now, considering the fact that most of our pools are closed, and we're not really hosting swim lessons, and it's driving people to the rivers and the lakes and stuff. So we did a pretty massive social media push for Water Safety Month. And just so everybody on the call knows, we were able to get Safe Kids in there. Stephanie was able to post some stuff last week. So yeah, it was nice to add you guys as a partner kind of in that 11th hour. So thank you guys for joining us on that push. I mean, we've used these resources off and on over the years. They're great resources, even if it's more backyard pool type stuff, some statistics that you guys can push out there, post on your websites and so forth, just so people who aren't coming to your pools are getting the information. It is great information. So just want to encourage you guys to connect if you can find a coalition. Yeah, absolutely. One last call for any questions for Jennifer.
Yeah, Jennifer, I put it in the chat too, but what would be the best way to reach out to our local coalition to, ask to attend a meeting? I'm in San Diego County, so I know there's a San Diego coalition. I just didn't know the best way to go about it.
Yeah, Safe Kids San Diego through Rady Children's down there. Lori Lynn is the coordinator down there. She's great. So if everybody goes to safekids.org, so that's the big national website, safekids.org, and then in the top menu there you click Find Your Safe Kids. And it does take another click or two. You got to click California and then click your local. But yeah, so find your Safe Kids at safekids.org, and then it'll have all of Lori Lynn's contact information for you down there.
Perfect. Thank you. We have time right now to do a couple extra clicks, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's, Terry, to your point, I really appreciate that, we're pushing out water safety. I know Mike Dodson down there in Elk Grove did a media interview where he was talking about, since folks can't go to the pools right now, a lot of them are going to the open waterways. And some of the fire departments and other folks were kind of thinking about, well, is it safe to have people loaning life jackets? Is that an infection control issue? And they've all made various decisions on that, but I know Sacramento Metro Fire said, whatever, put the life jackets at the river. We don't care. They're hanging them on the loaner board. yards, and folks can borrow those. Ryan and I were actually having a conversation yesterday about, trying to disinfect life jackets. That might cause a problem with the materials. So some folks are just rotating them out. If they have a big bunch of life jackets returned, they're just sort of keeping them in a box for 2 weeks and then washing them as best they can with water and then giving them back out. But the thought down at the river is hang the life jackets. Everybody needs one.
Yeah, it's probably a safer route to go, actually, because the other option is not to have one. So yeah, okay. Any last minute questions for her? Okay. All right, I reposted the information, so it's at the end of our chat right now. There's 4 links right there for you guys. Jennifer, just thank you so much again. You are more than welcome to stay on the call. And that I can call for questions later again if you want to hang out for a little while. But yeah, for now, we're going to go ahead and shift gears a little bit and ask a couple of questions. So using your guys's fabulous little hand things, raise hand option, wherever that happens to be. If you guys, one of the first questions that has been asked is your county allowing limited public access, like lapse? So if your county is allowing it now, go ahead and raise your hand. If your county is not allowing it, don't raise your hand. Let's see how many pop up.
Can you repeat what we're allowing and not, because you were really breaking up? You sounded like a robot.
Oh, good times. Okay. No, we just want to know if you're, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
How would I put it in the chat? So basically, we just want to know if your county is allowing limited public access, like lap swimming. So if they are, let's actually just ask about lap swimming. Are they allowing lap swimming? Raise your hand. I see YOLO's popped up. Holly, you might be the only one. Oh, Anthony has a thumbs up, so Contra Costa, or not Contra Costa, San Mateo.
Correct.
All right, well, we have, that's YOLO and San Mateo, I think is it. Anybody else? Great, okay.
I could talk a little bit about it if y'all want to.
So yes, Monterey County, now we got some stuff going in chat as well. Monterey County is a no. Sarah, where are you from? You said no, completely closed. Del Norte County. Orange County is still a no. So those are the LA counties a no. San Bernardino is a no. So we got the chat going. So right now it's YOLO County and San Mateo. So Anthony, I know you've been open. If you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, we're actually planning on opening up July 6th, and I'm with the City of Pacifica here in San Mateo County. And so we're gonna have limited lap swim for adults only and water aerobics. And the way it's gonna look like is they're gonna have to practice social distancing while front loading them, paying obviously. And then we're gonna close off our locker rooms, only allow access to our single stall restrooms, ask them to shower before, get in the water, swim, and get out. They're gonna have 45 minutes to swim. Like I said, we're gonna require them to wear masks the whole time, practice social distancing, we'll have the whole hand sanitizer, the whole 9 yards, have a one-way in and then one-way out, have our doors open to avoid contact of commonly used areas such as the jar bar, door handles. And so they're gonna be swimming for 45 minutes and then we're gonna have a 15-minute buffer in between to basically sanitize everything. But we're only allowing 1 lap swimmer per lane. We have 10 lanes and we're using a reservation system to do this. And we're gonna use Sign Up Genius is what we're looking into. They already have those templates set in place, which is really nice. And so if you guys are looking of a way how to limit it, because obviously before, first come, first serve, get as many swimmers in there as you can. And so that's what it's looking like we're going to offer. And we're going to offer it 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, from 8 to 2 with the water aerobics class at 11. And with the water aerobics class, we're going to have it in 2 lap lanes. And we're going to only allow 20 water aerobics participants. And so 10 water aerobics participants per lap lane. And obviously they need to be 6 feet apart. And so we're going to have 1 lap lane buffer as well, and then offer 6 laps or lap lanes for lap swimmers. And so we'll have that going on for 1 of the hours. And then same thing, when we do have our 15-minute turnover, we're going to be sanitizing all commonly used areas. If we do offer the chairs, we're thinking about offering chairs 6 feet apart so they can put their backpacks and everything on them. Sanitize those, obviously, and get ready for the next hour of participants. And so that's what we're looking into doing. And we want to also start up our swim program for our swim team and start that up again. And it's going to be the same process as the lap swimming. And it's going to be very limited to start out with. So that's what it's looking like over in the city of Pacifica.
All right, thanks Anthony for that update.
Yeah,
Freak mentioned San Diego County Board of Supervisors voted yesterday to request permission from the governor to open the pools. I had heard something, I don't know if this is true, somebody mentioned the governor of the county last week.
Terry, there's hearing you. Your mic's not working or something.
Well, I can't do much about that. I'm at work.
Oh, it's better now. It's going better now.
Is it? Let me plug in and see if that'll help. All right.
It seriously happens when you go to say something that we need to like really know.
Great. Awesome.
It's like,
right.
What?
Is it working now?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's because I needed to plug in. I don't understand Zoom in my computer apparently. So Frank had mentioned that County Board of Supervisors is voted yesterday to request permission from the governor to open the pools, but I had heard something, I don't have this confirmed in any way, shape, or form, that somebody had mentioned to me that the governor had said that it was kind of up to the counties now about opening. Does anybody have any information about that? I know Sacramento County is not opening except to private clubs that have received exemptions right now. So, okay, all right.
Terry.
Yeah.
This is Karen from City of Mission Viejo in Orange County. Hi. We got an update today that there have been a large group of mayors in Orange County. I think 50 plus mayors or something, that have written into the County of Orange to ask about getting their pools open. So I think what you're saying is correct, that it's more looking toward local level, county level for approval. So from our understanding right now, the mayors have gotten together and petitioned the county. I mean, I know this discussion happened actually a few weeks ago about looking to your own county to find out what their requirements are. But now it's to the point where I think people, cities are individually reaching out, and in large groups are reaching out now to their own counties.
Okay, so basically what it is like we already knew we needed to reach out to our counties. He's just saying like he's releasing like his thought process of the shelter in place, I guess, statewide. He's like relieving it a little bit. Okay, so Frank, you also mentioned disagreement among your county board of supervisors. Some are saying it's the governor and some are saying it's the county. Okay, good times. That must be fun. Okay, but it sounds like almost everybody is still pretty much public-wise, everybody's still pretty much closed. Kate, you mentioned something, Placer County outside of Sacramento is moving into phase 3. Yes, so that includes like Roseville. El Dorado County I know has loosened up a little bit too, but nothing's open yet from my understanding. Ryan, I know you messaged me privately, but I'm going to go ahead and call you out. You said something about state was saying something about a nonprofit group meeting that you had today. Do you want to clarify that?
Yeah, we had state leaders in on a nonprofit group talk, and they were saying that the state is deferring to the county on moving into phase 3. a lot of the language coming from that speaker was that counties could be moving to stage 3 soon, in the next few days, up to a week, just with opening up and moving into that stage 3.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So I know in SAC we kind of had a coalition of a handful of pool operators from the larger facilities that we were trying to work on getting exemptions. I mean, we're still trying to work on that too. So, and I have a couple friends in private with the clubs that have received exemptions, but it's really only been for lap swimming. So I don't know if other counties have experienced the clubs being able to have gain more access before public. So we're still stuck at a standstill, it seems.
So I wanted I pretty much just got an email on Monday, actually from the registration office, forwarding it saying, hey, this is for you guys. And it was an email from Yolo County that just says you're receiving this because you've been identified as a pool facility, public pool facility with lanes. The county determined that pools with dedicated swim lanes may open for lap swim only as long as they follow the attached guidance. And then they have like a page and a half of very, very, obviously very, very basic outlines and stuff like that. And pretty much just said, if you have any questions, let us know, and then left it at that. So even though I'm saying, like, yes, Yolo County is saying that we can do lap swim, I mean, we're nowhere near being ready to do that as a city and as a program. I actually really think that this might be partially because our Yolo County, like the swim teams in Yolo County, have been pushing really, really hard for pools to open up. So we're not 100% sure where this is kind of going.
Okay. Well, I think Jay sent those over to me. So, and okay. So a couple of you guys are emailing me some stuff. I'm going to email you back and ask you if I can go ahead and if we can share that amongst the aquatic section. So anything that's public related, I'll go ahead and forward to Lauren that they can share so everybody has all the information. Anybody emailing me stuff, I'm not entirely sure if we can share or not. I'm going to verify that with you guys first. And then we'll just send out as much information that we can. Because I know I talked to a person I knew with our county that doesn't work in the health department, but has been part of the county for 20 years. And she basically had told me, you know, we just need to make sure we have our ducks in a row, everything laid out. And if we have examples of other counties that have approved what were similar things to what we've submitted, that's going to make our conversation a lot easier. So the more resources we have, the better. Stephanie, okay, you know, not everybody's on Facebook because she's going to start a post where people can share documents. That's great. Okay. So if you're posting anything that you can share, go ahead and follow the aquatic section posting that Stephanie's going to do. I also saw something that I did not have a chance to read thoroughly. So CSD, we're shifting gears a little bit for consumer CSD. We're shifting gears a little bit, and starting next week, at least for me, other sites started this week. We're moving into childcare. So 30 hours a week of my time starting next week is going to be dedicated to being basically camps that are childcare camps. So I've kind of shifted from really diving into everything aquatics related to prepping to do camp stuff. So arts and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just so you guys are aware, my focus is now split a little bit, so I apologize. Now I did see something that came through about training and the lifeguard staff. Has anybody been able to offer at least in-service training internally? Or even trainings, like in-person trainings? Public trainings, because I believe Placer County there's a couple in Placer that are looking at doing public Red Cross trainings. Yep, Becky, you just hit it. Markson, Placer County with Auburn Area Parks and Rec. So, all right.
I actually have a question about that.
Go for it.
So I was forwarded an email from our director, from Liz Bellis, the director of Sacramento County, blah, 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 blah. There was a question about, I guess during their Greater Sacramento Area Park Manager meeting on the 28th, asking about lifeguard training and whether or not it was allowed. And the email pretty much just says, thank you for your inquiry. Lifeguard training is permissible as an essential sector. 8.15, workers and instructors supporting academies and training facilities and courses for the purpose of graduating students and cadets that comprise the essential workforce for all identified critical sectors. Coming from California Department of Public Health and Essential Services inquiry information. Did anyone hear about that?
I know I received that, but that's specific to Sac County.
I think Mark actually pushed, and Becky, maybe you can back me on this. Mark pushed the first responder aspect of that as lifeguards, and that's how we got the lifeguard class approved, I'm pretty sure.
So,
right,
yeah,
Becky?
so Mark used the Red Cross guidelines, and he got permission, like a waiver for Placer to do that. It sounds like what Liz has is kind of a general waiver for anybody in the county of Sacramento. But, and I was part of that task force, so I've been in communication with the executive secretary at the health department. It's pretty confusing because the people in the health department are using the language public pools are closed until phase 3. And the problem is that their visualization of public pools is open swim, public swim. It's, hundreds of people at the pool. And I've had some emails back and forth with them and been appealing to them to redefine and say that public swim is closed or open swim is closed, but to allow public pools to adopt the variants that some private pools have adopted, which is a version of lap swim basically. And you could then transition that into a version of swim team practice and things. But so, I mean, my response was literally NO without even a capital. Like, just the guy was just like, no, and passed it off. So when I finally got through, I was like, you probably even barely read what I wrote. So it does sound like we're able to offer lifeguard training classes, but they're still in public pools. So it creates this sort of problem of like, if you think your community could handle watching a lifeguard class happen and still have no access to the pool for what looks like probably a month, then maybe go ahead and do it. But there is that, for me, there's the worry that it doesn't indicate there's any time you're going to be able to allow any other public activity soon. So it could kind of backfire.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, what are we going to do at this point? Karen, are you still on the call, Mission Viejo? Because I thought Mission Viejo was having a USA swim practice still. And I wanted to check in on that.
Terry, I'm here.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, we have a private pool. It's not a public pool. It's a private pool.
Got it.
And they are allowing elite swimmers and master swim to train and swim at this time.
Okay, thanks for that clarification, because I know I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I was thinking since it was part of Mission Viejo, it was part of the city. So
it's on city property with other city facilities, such as our tennis facility and adjacent to our golf course, that are city owned and operated. But the pool in question that you're speaking about is the elite swim and dive facility that is private run.
Okay.
So it does sound like to me like Yolo County is one of the only counties that specifically reached out to public pools and said, hey, you're included in the allowances for social distancing lap swim, and everybody else that their counties haven't articulated that are sort of stuck lumped into public pools, which whoever's writing that law is visualizing as 500 people going crazy at your pool.
Okay. Well, all right. So since it's still very limited as far as where we're at, maybe in the next couple of weeks we'll get a little bit more movement, and maybe we'll just schedule a Zoom call for week after next on the 17th of June and go that route. And then hopefully within 2 weeks we'll get some. Oh, and then Peter Byers also reminded San Mateo, because San Mateo actually, City of Pacifica, when Anthony was talking, is actually open for lap swimming right now. So I saw a lot of posting about that. Amongst other, there's a bunch of other agencies across the nation too that have been doing it too. Oh, Manteca's offering swim lessons?
That's what Tony Lundgren told me. Yeah, this month.
I will check in with Tony on that, because I would love to know how she got by on that one. So, okay. All right. Andrew says Santa Clara County was approved to operate pools starting the 5th. I thought there was somebody else last week that said they were also approved to start operating as early as like the 8th next week. Shasta County is allowing.
Officer has pulled back on that since last week.
Oh, did they, Justin? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Okay. Anybody on the call from Reading? Colin's asking. Colin Smith's asking. Because Tara, do you know anything about that?
I thought Reading was the one that possibly was getting forward with the opening process. That's what I said.
Yeah, they are training. I don't have any information on how they got approval, but last time I talked to Jenny, she said they worked with their county for approval, so she would be a good person to reach out to.
What's her last name?
Moore. Jennifer
Okay.
Moore.
I have her information. Perfect. Okay. Cool. Hey, Justin, do you want to touch on why, do you know why your county pulled back?
Best as I can tell, our county is mostly mirroring what San Francisco County is doing.
Okay.
So like San Francisco came out with the new mask order last week, and we came out with one the next day. And San Francisco last week said that it was going to be at least probably another month until they were allowed to open. And so we're hopeful for the 22nd, but I think it's just going to be July sometime.
Okay, so it's really just sounding like San Mateo and YOLO, very limited, with some training further up north in Shasta County. And Southern California really hasn't gotten any movement at all, unless it's private sector. So, all right. Well, I mean, I'm just going to encourage you guys to continue reaching out to your health departments. Peter, I think it was Alameda that got approval with the packet you guys came out. Are you able to expand upon that and like when you guys might be able to start phasing your phases to open?
So yeah, I mean, our packet got vetted really early on, right after our releasing it to all of you guys. But it just means, you know, we're still in a holding pattern because Alameda County still continues to have major issues with increased outbreaks, etc. So we're lagging behind pretty much most of the state, other than LA County, which is also a hotbed. So we're just kind of in a holding pattern until we can get better numbers. So that's kind of the status of things right now.
Okay. I don't know if Wheeler's on the call right now, but Brian Wright just asked, any info come out of the director's meeting with Alameda County Health? He mentioned it last week. Peter, you might know that too. I don't know.
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing Wheeler on the call. Yeah. All right. So we're still basically, with exception of YOLO opening from last week to this week, and San Mateo opening the week, kind of getting approval the week before, we're still kind of like hanging tight. With that, I know Red Cross, do you guys have an update?
Yeah, absolutely. So Zachary and I are both going to give just a quick update. So the first thing that we wanted to make sure you guys were aware of is our returning to work during COVID safe work practices course. So I sent an email out. Most of you should have seen it. I'm still unclear on the fee structure for this class. It may be something that they're going to make free. When it was released, it was put out at $10, but if you do it today, it's posted at $0. So I'll get you clarification on that, but just making sure you guys are aware, you know, some of the federal guidance, obviously, and things from the CDC and OSHA about, you know, hand hygiene, respiratory etiquette, things like that. It's just a course to kind of help phase some people back in. I did get some feedback from some people on the course, so if anyone has looked at it or taken it, I'm happy to hear some of that, but I at least wanted to make sure you guys were available for, or aware of that one, sorry. And then I think Zachary has some stuff to discuss on our considerations document as well.
Yeah, so for those of you that haven't been living on the Learning Center, we released something on the 21st that is considerations for aquatic facilities and lifeguarding, and then as well as for healthcare professional guidance. So both documents are about, one for the aquatics is 11 pages, the healthcare one is 3 pages. So for the aquatic one, there's a lot of information all broken down by numbers. And so if you get the chance, I would pretty much like to highlight bullet number 4, which is about reopening and social distancing and other measures that should be applied to changing areas. So so one of the highlights is that, you know, if you're actively guarding, you shouldn't be expected to monitor hand washing or use of face coverage or social distancing. Hopefully you can utilize staff for that type of stuff. And then as you go through the document, there's just other stuff about PPE and types of programming. And then number 11, I think, is very important, which is what practices should be employed to improve the safety of lifeguards during in-service training. And obviously it's optimizing your social distancing measures and evaluating your class sizes and what that looks like. And then if you can, do a pre-screening approval and have them use face when they're out of the water. And then the emphasis that each instructor and student should have their own mannequin and training equipment to be able to participate in that in-service. And one of the probably final points that I think is valuable is what adaptations should be employed by lifeguards performing rescues. It says they need to recognize that there may be situations in which lifeguards will need to perform in-water rescues, and that will require removal of their face coverings, and then right maneuvers to reach that remaining on the deck. So by using or extending rescue device should be prioritized if you can. And then as well as if direct contact is necessary based on the person's condition, employing a rear approach and rescue to return the person to the deck is an ideal to minimize the rescue exposure to the person without protection. So it's a huge document with a lot of bullets, but number 4, 11, and 14 I think are the most valuable within that. And then for the healthcare professional guidance, it just kind of goes in depth about PPE and along the guidelines with the CDC. So those are on the Learning Center. If you don't have them, feel free to reach out to Tara and I, and we can always email those PDFs to you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right. Well, we'll do a meeting in another 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll gain access to polls as well, like being able to use the poll function. And then we're also going to look a little bit into the breakout rooms, because I was thinking that it might be worth it to see if we can put people by region into breakout rooms. I just don't know if we would be able to do that with, 80 plus people on the call unless they can skip around to their room. So we'll learn a little bit more about that over the next couple of weeks and see what we can do to maybe start conversations within your guys's areas. So yeah, hopefully that will help out. Thank you guys for all the links. Do we have any last minute questions or something that you guys want to talk about for next week, or sorry, in 2 weeks? Please feel free to ask those questions now. You can go ahead and unmute yourself. Jennifer is still on the call if you have more questions for Safe Kids.
This is Zachary. It's not really more of a question. I just wanted to announce if you guys have time tomorrow. I believe I sent an email out last week, but it appeared didn't work. But I'm hosting a Zoom meeting tomorrow just for Southern California people, and I know Tara has one tomorrow. Mine's at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so it's kind of just an opportunity to hopefully roundtable people together like this, just to maybe discuss some more operational stuff. So let me know if you want that link. Email me or send me a message.
Can you guys post the link in the chat?
Mm-hmm.
Tara's, I think yours is at 2 tomorrow.
Mine is at 1 o'clock, and I am throwing that in there right now as well.
Okay.
Sorry, thank you, Zachary. I forgot about that.
And Zachary, if you're able to toss yours in there as well. So Tara's is at 1 o'clock. It's more Northern California territory, and then Zachary's is Southern California. And then, yeah, all right. Any other questions? We're a couple minutes over, so I still want to be mindful of time. Okay. Well, I just want to thank everybody for your guys' continued dedication. Was somebody going to say something?
Oh, I was just saying thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, Jennifer, thank you so much again for coming out. We really appreciate it. It's nice to have more information on water safety across the board, especially since we just don't have access to people to teach anything to right now. So, so thank you for that. And then anybody else?
Sorry, I have a quick question.
Sure.
I was wondering, has anybody done any like drive-up events to give safety at home to kids at home? I mean, like a sunscreen, a water bottle, stay hydrated. Any ideas, or if anybody's had a successful one, would be greatly appreciated. Just trying to keep the community involved, I guess.
Yeah, I know Safe Kids Stanislaus, so they cover the Modesto area. They've done a couple pop-up events at parks with helmets and life jackets, not at the same time. So bike helmets or life jackets. And what they've done is, brought some chalk to mark off spaces for people to stand every 6 feet and just posted a sign that say free bike helmets or free life jackets while supplies last. And they've put a table lengthwise so they can slide whatever the item is down to the family, and then had the parent or caregiver fit the life jacket or the bike helmet on the child while the Safe Kids person walks them through it verbally. And then they've had some extras on hand, like each person that's going to walk them through it verbally has their own life jacket, their personal life jacket there with them, so they can wear it and demonstrate what they're doing. Same with the bike helmet. We have a little mannequin that we put the helmet on and show the parent how to fit the bike helmet on them. So just kind of pop up things like that. We know we can't necessarily invite folks places sometimes, but folks are out at the parks. You've all seen folks using parks more than ever. So some of those pop-up events have been successful, I know, for Safe Kids Stanislaus. We haven't done it here yet in Sacramento. We're still kind of waiting on that, but that's just one example.
Awesome. And is there any like resources I could reach out to that would like donate stuff like that, or any luck with anybody reaching out to people that would help donate? I'm in Southern California too, sorry.
Yeah, I'd hit up your Safe Kids Coalition and they'd be able to tell you where they might get some of that kind of stuff. Most of it is grant funded. But life jackets specifically, I know the State Department of Boating and Waterways will provide life jackets for life jacket loan stations. And if you tell Melissa is the coordinator, if you tell her you're going to do, a specific life jacket event, she might be able to supply them for you. But most of us get that kind of stuff through grants.
Awesome, thank you, I appreciate it.
Mariana, Brooke Walsh posted that City of El Centro in Imperial County did a big water safety drive with lots of stuff. So you can check out their Facebook page. So El Centro Aquatic Center. There's pictures. And then Holly for Red Cross, they're asking if the Red Cross Zooms are going to be recorded.
No, we don't record any of our Zooms, unfortunately. Okay. Happy to send out any notes or materials that we use though.
Tara, the psychological first aid training that you guys offer at Red Cross is really good. I completed it a couple days ago. It's like 30 minutes to an hour. If anyone looks in it, it's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good one too.
Yeah, it's I came up with a little write-up and sent it to all the staff at Sunrise for people. It's helpful and it's got a good bunch of stuff in it. But I just wanted to give you guys a shout out for that.
Cool, thanks, man.
Thank you. Has anyone else done that class? Stacy, yeah, same feedback. Cool.
Awesome. How long is it, Tara?
It's 30 minutes to an hour, depending on your reading speed and whatnot. I think Colin said it took him, 30 minutes?
30 minutes to an hour. You can do it on a phone. It's really useful. And I put it together and put it on my staff website for my staff to take optionally if they want to do it.
Awesome. Okay.
Kind of along those lines, I took the water safety for parents and caregivers just so that I knew what I would be putting out, and that was really good as well. Good job, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, all those one-off classes right now are definitely good. Any of them that have a fee too, you guys can offer those at a 50% discount if you want to do it with staff. But I think the ones that we're referring to right now are pretty much all free. So.
And Tara just posted that in the chat as well. Dominic, I think you just posted something. Do you want to go ahead and talk about your April Pools Day drive-through? It's like, can he unmute himself? I gotta find you. Dominic, you there? All right, he's unmuted, but nothing's coming through. Frank, isn't that your agency?
Yes, so Dominic set it up. We did it at two separate locations. We did one location where the kids were doing, or the families were doing food pickup for the free lunch program. And then we also did it at the pool where it's first come, first served. And they had swag bags full of different items. I'm sure Dominic can type his name or his email in there if you want to get a full list of everything that they put together. And they had most everything donated to actually give out. And the staff put a fun little video together to kind of promote it too.
That's awesome. Thanks. Yeah, Dominic's saying he couldn't get unmuted, and it's showing on our end you were unmuted, so I don't know what's going on. Cool. Any last minute sharing you guys want to do? All right. Well, we've gone 10 minutes over. Sorry about that. Keep in mind, you guys can always hop off at any time. So, but yeah, we'll meet again on the 17th, and hopefully there's going to be some movement within our agency or within our counties that we'll be able to open up. Here's to hoping for sure. So, I mean, in the meantime, just push water safety. Yes, cross our fingers, across everybody's screen. So, but yeah, just keep pushing water safety as much as you possibly can with what you guys are doing. And I feel like maybe that's what we can do so far. So, so yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everybody. Thank you to the board, and just thank you to membership and non-membership for joining us every week. It's pretty awesome, our aquatic community. So I really appreciate it. So we will see you. And this will be posted on our our aquatic section YouTube. So
probably later today.
Stephanie's on it. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Terry. Hey, if anyone has questions for mine or Zachary's Zoom that you want to address, shoot those over to us today so we can try and have some answers ready for you. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks all. You guys have a good day.